Hello, everyone. Welcome, NFA Money Mamas, to another episode of the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. We're here today for a biz breakdown session with Amy Fauth, who is a leadership coach, and she's the founder of OneStep Coaching and Consulting. And you all know that I love to hang out on Instagram, and that's a place where I reach out to women entrepreneurs and share podcasts, and then we start a conversation, and if it feels like a good fit, they come on for a biz breakdown session. So any of you are welcome to do that. The easiest way would be to go to thewomanontrepreneurpodcast.com and then click on Get Your Biz Breakdown Session. We have a really playful conversation. We highlight your business and then talk about what your big goals are for the year, and then break down anything that you feel like you might need help with. It could be mindset stuff, or it could be business scaling strategy. And what this does is helps not only yourself, but also all of the listeners, because we're all in the same place where we have similar struggles as we scale our businesses. And so it's a really fun way to just share in community, highlight your business, and get tips to help you scale. So I'm so psyched, Amy, to have you on. One thing that I love to do is I don't look too much into what's going on for people's businesses because I like to do it live time. So I check out, of course, your social media feeds and your website, and then come on and say, hey, let's just chat and have a fun conversation. So I'm psyched you're here. Thanks for coming on, Amy.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited too.
Yay. Okay. Let's start with this. I always start with this question. And one reason, I don't think I've ever shared the backstory of this, I like to ask the magic wand question, because when I was going to networking events, I'd ask people this question and they loved it. I'd be like, hey, if I could give you a magic wand, sometimes I'd ask, what would your superpower be? And so for this, I like to ask, if I could give you a magic wand, what would you create in 2023 for your business?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. What would I create? I can only pick one?
You could pick several things. Let's hear what you say first, and that it gives me a lot of insight into the direction you're going.
Okay. I would create, if we're getting down into the nitty-gritty detail, technical, my group coaching program that I've been working on for a while. And I would create enough of a consistent income to leave my full-time job.
Okay. Awesome. Consistent income to leave full-time job. That's a big one that a lot of women have, of course. Mm-hmm. Okay. So group coaching program. Tell us a little bit about the group coaching program.
Yeah. So I am designing it through a program that I'm certified in. I'm using those tools, and I'm putting it into, I haven't decided how long yet, but probably at least 10 weeks, potentially 12, into kind of a flow. It'll be designed around leadership. So it'll follow a LEAD, LEAD, kind of format. I'm a pretty structured person, so I love like acronyms and all this kind of stuff. So lead yourself, align your mission, or oops, I spelled it wrong. Lead yourself, elevate your presence, align your mission, define your future. Ooh. And so each of those blocks will be learning different things.
Okay. Oh, I love that. I love acronyms too. NFA is no fucking around money, and I love acronyms. Yeah. I'm always doing acronyms as well. I think it's a great way to help people organize information. And, one thing I think that people come to coaches for is for that clarity and organization and systems. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's a brilliant strategy, and it's a great acronym for LEAD. Okay. And so, and then consistent income to leave your job. Mm-hmm. What would that look like for you? You're super clear? Is there an income point at which you would feel comfortable taking the leap? You don't have to share the exact amount, but is it like a certain level of money, or is it a certain number of clients, or what would it take for you to be able to do that?
I don't feel that I need to completely replace my income, so I'd be okay with a little bit less.
Okay.
I think it is more, so if I had to throw a number out, I would say 50,000.
Okay.
And then I don't think I have a number of clients, but I want to, I don't know how to word it, have a flow. Okay. I'm I'm having the time to talk to people more, to speak, to bring people into my universe and have them decide which is the best way to work for them, because I do offer one-on-one packages as well. And then I know you're going to laugh. I've listened to your podcast and I already know what you're going to say. But I also am certified in a couple different leadership development programs. And I love that. I love facilitating. And the one program that I recently was certified in is a blast. And it teaches such amazing leadership competencies in a really real world applicable way. So that would be easy enough for me to do while also doing group coaching or individual coaching, because you have to schedule that out. And that'd be working with teams, ideally, other different groups.
Awesome. Got it. Yeah. And well, I'm curious what you think I would say. I'm curious.
I need to focus and have a direction.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. And so I love that you say this, because I want to clarify for everyone. Whenever I say narrow your focus to expand your freedom, and I always recommend that pre-six-figure entrepreneurs focus on one program, product, or service to really get their marketing streamlined and their brand streamlined. Another addition to that I think is important, and I'm glad you're pointing that out, is it's okay to have other things. It's just not what you market to. So what I mean by that is, let's say in your social media brand strategy, you want to make sure that people are clear about the program you offer, and that you have like this flagship or signature program that you offer. So people start to associate that with you in their mind. And then they go, oh, Amy is this. And so that's what you're marketing to. That's what you're talking about. That's what you're attracting people to in your lead magnet and in your content. And then on the side, you might be doing some other like side gig type of hustles, right? Where you go like, oh, I've already got these certifications, and I've got a way to maybe go do some workshops or leadership training with people, and I get these opportunities. Awesome. That's great, because you're actually adding an influx of cash into your business, and it's stuff you enjoy. You use the words love, that, which to me is zone of genius stuff. So you want to pay attention to that and go like, hey, if I love this, I'm not going to push it away. It's just that you're not broadcasting it, so you're not confusing people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I like that.
Okay, awesome. And I love that. I always listen to the BIZ Breakdown sessions once they're released out into the world. And, the day they come out, I listen to them when I'm getting ready in the morning. And so for me, it gives me a lot of insight and reflection to go like, oh, what did I miss? And what did I forget to say here? Or what do I need to say, and make sure that people know? And that's one of those things that's really important, because as entrepreneurs, we have a ton of creativity, and we have a lot of things we love doing, right? And so it's not that you're dropping and pushing it away completely. It's that in your marketing message and in your main focus, you want to have one clear direction so that you can get there faster. So, for example, in my business today, I have my NFA Money Mama Mastermind, which is what I mainly focus on marketing to. And I'm post six figures, so now I can add things. And I'm also very strategic about it by not offering too many things. And if I do, they're all very in alignment with each other, so that it's like that umbrella brand doesn't have any scattered brand identity. And so that's really what it's about. When you're pre-six figure, you want to be making sure that you're having very clear focus in your brand. People are starting to understand who you are and thinking of you as the leader and expert in your area of expertise. So that's what I would focus on. Okay, so share, for you, what are your perceptions of stuck points that you're experiencing right now in growth?
Well, being a solopreneur, so literally doing it all, creating the content for social media, designing programs, and it's not leaving a lot of room for me. I guess a major stuck point, in one word would be time.
Okay.
So I feel like I am always creating content to go out and to serve and to, nurture an audience. I'm not getting anything back from that.
Got it.
And then it's like, I can't keep up with what the algorithms say you should do. So then I feel like I'm always creating content, but then I'm like, okay, well, I need to focus on my creating the group coaching and get it launched, because I've wanted to do that for at least 2 years. And
Okay.
it's just getting put back because I feel like I'm just trying to stay on top of social media.
Got it. Okay. Will you share with me the reason that you believe it's important to grow social media so I can know your perception of that?
I guess visibility.
Okay.
I don't know how, I don't know how else people would know about me
Okay.
right now.
And does that mean that you think that the social media is what's going to attract the people to the group coaching program?
Or any coaching with me. Yeah.
Okay.
Any of my services.
Okay. So let's start there, because this is something I think people get really stuck on. And there are many coaches and consultants out there that could argue with me or say, I don't agree or whatever. And I always share my path and what worked really well for me, because I bootstrapped, and I, like you, it was like I had 3 kids. I was in grad school. I was on food stamps. I didn't have a lot of money to put into growing my business. And so I did the things that I knew were going to bring me the highest ROI, the fastest and the most easily. And so that's the way I like to coach people. I go like, hey, I don't care how much money you have in the bank or in savings or whatever. I want you to get high ROI use of your time. And so you've detected already it's time. And of course, when you already have a job, time is going to be you're going to need to use your time incredibly strategically, which means that if you're taking a whole bunch of time in your spare time to create social media posts and it's not attracting a lot of people, it's not effective, right? And so something I like to remind people of is that in the beginning stages, especially when you're wanting to take the leap in the transition from job to full-time entrepreneurship, we want to be going like, what's the fastest, easiest path to cash? And it's not social media. So social media, I like to look at as a long-term tool to build an identity and a brand, and to have people start to know, like, and trust you. It's not a fast way to get new clients and customers, right? Because think of it this way, like, how many people have you reached out to on social media, just cold, not interacted with them at all, and bought something from them?
Very few.
Right. And I think most people listening would agree. It takes time to get to know people, right? Like even my podcast, I'm I can't remember total. I think I'm 250 episodes in for the overarching podcast. And, that has been something that's been a long-term marketing strategy that attracts people, but it wasn't the thing that got people in the door immediately. What got people in the door immediately was a direct marketing approach. And what I mean by that is for you, I think it would be amazing to outline your program and go, this is the group coaching program. These are the top 5 results you're going to get. And then do a direct marketing strategy where you are talking to people who are avid fans already, let's say in your social media, but you're going to be reaching out to them directly through conversations. You're going to reach out to friends. You're going to reach out to any business acquaintances. You're going to get referrals from people you've met. You're going to get on network. Like for me, I went to networking events, and I know when you have a full-time job, that might not be as doable. But I went to networking events and I just talked directly to people. And so what happened was that gave me an influx of money, so that then it kept funding the social media machine growing over years. It wasn't a thing where it was like, oh, the social media tracks, especially if you need a group coaching program, because, what's your ideal starting place for your social media, for your group coaching program? Like, how many people would you want to be in the first round?
I would say 10 to 15. I'd probably try to fill 15 seats, knowing that some may drop off or not always be present.
Okay.
I think I can manage 10 though in the group, at least my first time through. And I may always keep it that way because I don't want to lose. I guess I don't know. I don't want to say what I think I would do, but I want to make sure that it's always to a point where I can give high value and really, be there for my clients and that they feel taken care of.
Okay. Yeah. And if you had, because you're planning to do it in a 10 or 12 week, it sounds like it's not an ongoing group coaching program. It's 10 to 12 weeks, people come in, which is actually a great way to start because it has that time cap and people can know I'm going to be here for 12 weeks or whatever the amount of time is. So do you currently have Like when I say that, do ideas come to your mind of like who those 15 people could possibly be already? Do you have at least 5 in your mind who you know would be a good fit?
Oh, names?
Like, yes, people that you're like, oh, I could think of this person or this person or this person I've been chatting with on Instagram, or I know this networking event I could go to start attracting people, that kind of thing.
I don't know that I know. I've got people more that I know would be in my corner and would
Okay.
pass it along. I don't know if they would be in the program.
Okay, perfect. That
And
works.
your names
Referrals.
around.
Okay. And tell us, so what's the program? What is the group coaching program called?
Leverage your leadership.
Leverage your leadership. Okay. And who's the target market? Like, who's your 5-star avatar for that?
Women, for sure.
Okay.
That's where I'm comfortable right now and who I want to work with.
Okay.
I would say, I've done work with new leaders in corporate.
Okay.
I've run different workshops internally and things like that with new leaders, and I kind of love it. I said it again.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there's so much broken with leadership in corporate America that even the people maybe that are high achieving, high potential coming up or know they want to be a leader. So aspiring leaders, new leaders, and maybe mid-level. Because
Okay.
that seems to be, based on what I hear from my clients and research that I've done, really where there's some breakdowns and
Yep.
where things get formed that you take with you on your leadership that may not be great.
Yeah. And you know the pain points. It sounds like you're in corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's awesome. I love it when people start with what they know and let what they know grow. So you already know the pain points because you're living in it right now. And so that's a really powerful place to be. So my brain goes straight to like, ooh, okay, where do these women hang out? And where can I contact them? And this is like old school sales strategy, right? Like, I think it's interesting how now in the digital era, we think like, oh, we're going to like create a digital online business. And it doesn't mean that we reach out to people like old school style through like cold calling or things like that. And that's not true, right? The digital world, what it allows you to do is expand your audience to a global reach over time. And that's awesome because at some point you will start attracting people through your digital media, like, through LinkedIn and Instagram and all of those things. When you start, it's much more of a grassroots approach. And so you go like, hey, like, who do I already know who could be a good candidate? And just like you're saying, I'd start writing that list of everyone who you know it likes you and likes what you're doing in the world and go like, hey, who do you know who would be a good fit for this? And, you have the top 5 benefits of the group coaching program. And then you start there and start building that list. And so have a really direct approach to getting the first 10 to 15 people in the door. Then once you have that, now you can start posting stuff on social media with you, like, pictures of the mastermind, of the group coaching program, what they're getting out of it. Then you've got testimonials, and then you can start using that to cultivate more of the social media presence. But most people kind of do it backwards, where they're like, oh, I'm going to put a whole bunch of social media. It's this mentality of like, build it and they'll come. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really work that way. I will say this, as a manifestation coach, yes, you can attract through your energy, yet you've got to build momentum in an area. So, the manifestation formula is, number 1, you've got to know what you want. 2, take action in the direction. 3, let the universe bring you the ways. So for you right now, the taking action in the direction that's the most powerful at the stage that you're at is direct approach, like talking to everyone and reaching out really specifically to people who would be a good fit to fill that first round of the group coaching program. And for me, something that I like to do, which is some people, this might spin them into a spiral of fear. Other people, it's like, it's go time. I like to set a date and go for it. So like, I'll go setting the date and now it's go time. My brain can wrap around, okay, the group coaching program is starting right here and I've got to fill it with at least 10 people. And then your brain gets into like, okay, I'm going to start calling this person, and it starts coming into solution orientation. And so what I want you to do is have like a desktop I'd usually do use a Google sheet and just start putting everyone's contact in there who I can think of. And anytime I think of someone new, add it, and then start making a minimum of, if you have a full-time job, you could make 2 to 3 contacts a day, and just start getting really laser focused on filling that mastermind or group coaching. I keep calling it mastermind because I have a mastermind, the group coaching program. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And there's probably more people than I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah.
So something that came to my mind was I'm kind of the person who I was looking to build everything I need for group coaching. So like if they need a worksheet for this section or a workbook, or do I need to record things in advance that they'll watch? Mm-hmm. I've heard other people, marketers, say, build it while you're doing it.
Yeah, build it as you go.
Kind of itchy.
Okay.
And so I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
That's a great question. What I recommend is be 1 week ahead, and that's it. Okay. So, you don't necessarily want to start with nothing if you're a person who doesn't like to wing it and go on the fly, because that does stress some people out. So you could be 1 week ahead. I definitely don't recommend building out the whole thing. It's until you have at least 5 people in that course or the group coaching program. Because what happens, like I've made this mistake before where I had a great idea and I created the whole thing and I wasted a month of my time building it out, and then it didn't sell, or it actually ended up selling to one person. And I was like, oh my God. And I completely overdid it. In that new learning curve, it was like way too much information, way too much content. And it was several modules. And, so I created the first module, which was still a ton of work. And then I got one person in there and I was like, oh my God, now I've got to create all of this for one person. Oh no. And so what I ended up doing was reaching out to the person saying, hey, can I do it to pay you back? Can I do some group coaching with you or some one-on-one coaching with you to make up for your payment in the course? Because I'm not going to finish creating the course because I don't have enough people for it. And the learning lessons for me there were build it as they come. And even in terms of doing market validation, make sure people want it before you create it. So it's really part of this process of you reaching out to people and saying, do you know anyone, is going to give you market validation. And it's a research process. So you go, oh, people are saying, if you're getting a lot of people be like, oh, that sounds awesome. I know this person and this person, that's good validation. If people are kind of like, oh, I can't think of anyone, don't be creating anything until you get the yes. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. That's scary to think about.
Yeah.
That's, I think, one thing that goes through my mind and why I was so attracted to listening to your podcasts and the books is like, I feel like part of it is my brain. It is me and like having that fear or that doubt that what I have is good. And logically, I know it is. I have a background of HR and talent development. Like coaching is just the icing on the cake. And so I can bring those skills to it and really help people that way. But how do I convey it in a way that people are like, I didn't know I need it, but I do.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that you're saying this because I think we all struggle with that. One of the big struggles is that we model ourselves after like other coaches in the industry who are usually several years ahead of us. And we think we need to have it all figured out. And the truth is they all started at the exact same place you're starting at, which is like, I'm not really sure yet. And you need the validation through the experience of doing it for people to say, this part was awesome. This part didn't resonate so much. And then also you'll discover your gold mine by being in your zone of genius. And you'll really go, oh, I love to do this. And this part, I could do without that. And so those are the parts that you either choose to drop and transform and pivot your business, or you delegate them away or automate them. And it's a discovery process. I really want to remind everyone listening that building a business is a discovery process, especially when you're pre-6 figures. There is so much to figure out. It's like, who am I as my brand? Who do I like to work with? What solutions do I bring to the table? What problems do I solve? what media platforms do I enjoy? Social media platforms. How do I enjoy sharing the information? How do I enjoy, in terms of what kind of programs? Like, is it one-on-one, or is it group, or is it courses? Is it all the above? Is it speaking? Like, there are so many freaking options. And so you want to figure it out. I think of it often like dating, where you just go, if you went on one date and then you thought you had to figure it all out with this one person, that would be pretty rough,
True. Very
right?
true.
And your business is no different. You've got a lot of ideas that are in your head. And I know, since you've listened, I'm sure you've listened to episode 3, the discovering your zones that you're in as you scale your business. So zone 1 is manic imposter zone, where you've got all these great ideas and yet you don't know what you're doing. Right. And then zone 2 is that you over deliver and undercharge. So you create too many things and don't charge enough. Then you move into zone 3 and you're like, okay, I'm going to start valuing myself more. I've got to charge more and I've got to start delegating. And then zone 4 is the zone of manifestation, where you're like, I know my brand identity. I love what I'm doing in the world. I delegate all the bullshit away that I don't enjoy. And my business is flowing and growing through nonstop flowing referrals and leads and that kind of thing. Does that sound resonant?
Yeah, I guess I would have thought I was past zone 1, but apparently not.
Yeah. It's the interesting thing about zone 1 is it's exciting because there's a lot of ideas and there can be a lot of fun there. Now it's just reining it in a little bit and going like, okay, wait, like what? I love this. Let's validate it now. So one of the steps in that process is the market validation step, where you just go, okay, I got to reach out to some people and see if what I'm thinking resonates with what I am believing to be true in myself. And then tailoring it to fit the needs of the people. Because there's this, I like to think of it as a Venn diagram. If you had 3 circles, one of them would be, what is my zone of genius and that I love doing? What am I skilled at doing? And then the third one is, what will the market pay for? And in the middle is your sweet spot, right? And so that market validation piece is going, what will the market pay for? And usually when we're in zone 1, we're doing exactly what you're talking about. It's like we're putting a whole bunch of stuff out there in social media and thinking like, well, I think it's awesome, so everyone should just flock to this program that I put out there. And it just doesn't work that way, right?
Right. And yeah, I do feel like I'm just kind of talking into an empty vessel a little bit.
Yeah.
So, so right now, I think what I'm hearing you say is focus on getting that first chunk of the coaching program go, or validate, I guess, first. Ask some people, here's what I'm building. Here's what it'll look like a little bit. And here's what I'm hoping people will get from it. Build up that first chunk while I'm marketing it.
Yep. Okay. Exactly. Yep. And so like what you could do is you could have the outline for let's say it's a 12-week program. You have the outline, but you haven't created the content for it yet. Right. And then what you're doing when you're talking to people. So in my first program, it was 12 weeks. It was a hybrid course where it was videos, and then we'd meet one-on-one to talk about what they learned in the videos. And it was one-on-one coaching. So I could charge a high amount for it and really have it fund my business as I discovered more about my brand and myself and how I can help people. And so I didn't create a landing page for it. I made it simple. I had a 1-sheet Excel spreadsheet. I think it was Google Sheets at the time, but it was like 1 sheet with the 12 topics and I called it action steps that they would be doing. And then I'd talk to them on a consult and walk them through and say, here's what you're going to get out of it. Here's what you're going to get out of it. We'd have a powerful conversation. They'd be like, that sounds awesome. But I didn't create any more than that. So what you could do is create an outline like that and then do market validation by even having a consult with someone. Be like, hey, I've got this awesome program that I think would really be helpful to help with this, and this. Would you be willing to chat with me for a little bit just so that I can see if that resonates for you? Is this things that you're needing in leadership? And just approach it from that place, like you're discovering for yourself. And then as you're talking through them with it, this often would happen for you, they'd be like, I want that. That sounds awesome. And so you're simultaneously getting potential people for the group coaching program while you're also practicing market validation.
Yeah, I think I do have a little bit of fear around the saying it out loud to people.
Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah.
I am.
Will you clarify when you say it? Tell me more. What does that mean? When you say I have a little bit of fear of saying it out loud to people? Say more.
I guess selling myself really is what I'm doing. Selling my program, selling my services as a coach. So I guess maybe it means me.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. And if we were in a room right now with 1,000 listeners and I asked them who has a fear of promoting themselves, I bet you 90% would raise their hand, maybe more. And so you're not alone, and everyone has these fears. It's scary to promote ourselves, right? It's like, especially when it hasn't been validated yet, because you don't know whether it's going to affect people positively or not. You have ideas in your mind, and I bet it will, because you know what you're doing. But we have all these self-doubts, and we go like, shit, I don't want to promote something that isn't great, right? And you're not going to know if it's great until you start playing with doing it with people in the world. And so we kind of have this double-edged thing where we're like, oh, hopefully they'll just come to me. But imagine this, energetically, if you aren't certain, they're not certain, right? If you don't know if what you have is good, how could they ever be certain that what you have is good? And people buy your confidence. First and foremost, people are buying your confidence.
Yeah.
So it helps. This is where market validation is really helpful too, is that it gives you more confidence. Because you'll start getting that reflective feedback of like, that sounds awesome, Amy. I do need that. I do struggle with that. And then you'll be like, yes, awesome. This is good. And then it gets easier to sell because you feel confident about it. Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Selling is such a wild, fun process because it's so easy to get scared. And really it's that we're afraid to put ourselves out there and then get feedback. And the feedback is really useful. Because
I'm thinking like, what if I went and did that market validation and they were like, nah, then
right.
Like, well, then right. What do I do? What's my purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. And you would also get the awareness that like, oh my God, I don't need to waste my time in the direction I was going. My quote of the week this week that I'm releasing, actually, so this will be released after this, so it'll be in the reverse, but there's this really awesome quote by Kenichi Ome, and he says, it doesn't help if you row harder in the wrong direction, right? And so that market validation gives you the right direction. So it might be, here's probably what will happen on those market validations. If you're pretty clear already what the pain points are, probably you'll have people being like, that sounds awesome, I want that. There's that possibility. Or they could be like, that really resonates, but this doesn't, which helps you refine it. It's unlikely, knowing what you know, because you are in corporate world and you do see the leadership struggles, it's most likely that there's not anyone that's going to be like, you're totally off base, you have no idea what you're doing, go away, right? They might, but it's unlikely. So that's just a fear in your mind.
True.
Yeah. So let's do that.
Feel better.
Good. So boost yourself up right now. Tell us 5 things you're awesome at, like in leadership, like, because you are, and I want you to know that.
Self-awareness.
Okay.
Intuition.
Nice.
5 things. 5 things. Asking questions. Nice. Getting shit done.
Nice.
And I'm waffling between making things simpler and providing structure, which maybe they're kind of the same, they're tied together.
I love these. Okay. So I just wrote those down. Those right there, that's what your leadership program offers, because that's what you're a genius at, right? So you go like, hey, what this group coaching program will give you is self-awareness, how to follow your intuition, how to know how to ask the right questions, getting shit done, and learning how to simplify and create structure at the same time.
Wow, you just did that like.
Yeah, there you go, right? And so when you say that to people, because it resonates for you, you're going to attract people who are looking to you as their guide. And that's the guide that you offer, because those are your zones of genius. Does that make sense?
Yeah, my mind's kind of blown right now.
I love it. My job is done.
It's just locked away in my head, and you made it so easy.
Yeah. So, you know why? Because we don't see the gold in ourselves. We tend to beat ourselves up. We see the deficit. We don't see like where we shine. And so when you see where you shine, then you just go like, oh, I'm the leader to help other people shine in this way because it's where I shine. And you only need to be one step ahead of the people that you're coaching.
Okay.
You got it. I love it.
That makes sense, because if I love working with new leaders, and I was a new leader just, like 4 years ago, and I've learned a lot, I would be one step ahead.
Yeah.
When it goes with my company name, look at that.
There you go. Yeah, woohoo. Wow, that was awesome work today. Yeah. That's the thing, right? It's about like playfulness with yourself and going like, what am I good at? What do I bring to the table? And then just stating it in a way that, hey, I bet other people need this too. For me, it's like working with people on money and growing their businesses, because that's where I was stuck. I was on food stamps. I didn't have enough money. And then I'm like, okay, what's one step that I can help people do? And for me, it was that I started breaking through my mindset BS of thinking that I was small and insignificant and stuck in a place where I was really victim minded. And as I started to break through that, I was like, I can help other people break through this because I see people struggling in the same exact way. And so then I just started talking about the way that I did it. And then people were like, I want that. That sounds like what I have too. So it's the exact same thing for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So awareness, intuition.
Asking questions. Getting shit done, which I think you need to use that exact language because people love that. And then you said waffling between simplifying and structure. I would just say, something about simplifying and creating structure at the same time, like something along those lines. Like how to simplify and create structure at the same time. Like that's a great benefit of a program that you would walk people through. And then you just outline it from that place and you go like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to be self-aware as a new leader. I'm going to teach you how to follow your intuition so that you can, whatever the outcome you want them to have, learn how to ask the right questions to get results. Get shit done. Stop procrastinating, that type of thing, right? And then simplify so you're not overwhelmed, and create structure so you feel in control. Like that's how I would start playing with wording those things.
I'm just in shock right now. Like, it's so good to talk it out because you hear the things, and this happens when I coach people too. It's like, I hear things that you're not saying.
Yeah.
And when I say it back to them, or, I ask them if I can repeat back what I'm hearing, they're usually like, oh. And so It's just so crazy and such a great feeling to be on the other end of that.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where it's like, we all need coaches. That would be like my wish for humanity, is like every single person has a coach, because it's to me such a helpful gold mine it's a helpful tool to help you discover your gold mine that we all have. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh my God, it's amazing when we get to know that we're all valuable, worthy, and awesome, and just have someone help you see it for yourself, Yeah,
I agree. Everyone does need a coach.
Yes. So perfect time to give your plug. Share where people can find you.
Yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn, just my name, Amy Fauth. I do have a business page as well, but mostly I'm on my main page. My website is OneStep Coaching, all one word, spelled out, .net. And then on Instagram at OneStep Coaching.
Awesome. And just for those of you who aren't seeing this on YouTube, if you're listening on the podcast, her name is spelled Fauth, Fauth. So Amy Fauth on LinkedIn. And then we met on OneStep Coaching on Instagram. She has an awesome Instagram feed, so definitely go check it out. And then really great services on her page. And it sounds like she's going to be creating a group coaching program very soon for new and rising leaders to be more empowered as leaders. Yeah. Awesome. I can't wait to see it coming out in the world. Thank you so much for coming on. I really love and appreciate what you and when women come on to share, because everyone's like, I can't even tell you how many emails I get with people saying like, oh my God, that session helped me break through so much. So thank you for being willing to come on, because I know it can be hard to come on and share like your spots where you feel stuck in your business. Yeah, no, this has been great. Super helpful. And I love the book. I love the podcast. I listen on my way into the office, and I just listened to Linda. Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
And I found a lot of similarities with her.
Yeah. Wonderful.
So yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. And then, yeah, for all of you, if you're new here and haven't, it's your first time listening, make sure she's talking about my book, I'm a Money Magnet. So it's I'm a Money Magnet, the top 30 money making AffirMantras to manifest more. It's like a journaling guidebook into you discovering your unconscious money block beliefs that are holding you back and reprogramming them. So if you just go to IamAMoneyMagnetBook.com, you can purchase it there. And I don't know if you know this because I'm not sure when you purchased it, but I just added the course for free. So if you ordered it on Amazon, do you remember when you ordered it?
Just a couple weeks ago, and it was through Amazon.
I'm glad you said this. So anyone who ordered it in the last few weeks, email me, dramanda@nfamoney.com, and ask for the free course because you don't have the version of it in your book. So email me and I'll send you the link to the free course that goes along with it. So it's a 30 days of videos that go along with every Affir mantra.
All right, cool.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much for coming on, Amy. And thank you, all of you, for being here again with us this week. I'm sending you tons of love and NFA money making high fives.